The purpose of a strategic rail freight interchange is that you move goods on the longest part of the freight journey into a part of the country on the rail. You take it off and then the last leg is carried out by road transport.
What Rail Central are intending to do is to build an 8 million square foot warehouse between two historic Northamptonshire villages.
One of the things that's really struck me throughout the entire process and worried me is often it's been clear when we've interacted with the developer and a number of their supposed experts is that we appear to have a closer handle on policy than they do.
What's happening now is developers are bringing these things forward in the wrong locations that won't help to move freight onto rail.
One of the main reasons I'm against it is the traffic aspect particularly.
They play upon the fact that there's a degree of confusion, a degree of uncertainty, and I think that they use that to dampen down the local opposition.
I think particularly being as it's so close to Derft as well, I think that's a lot of people's feeling. It's 15 miles away from Derft, so why would you have two that are supposedly strategic and yet you've got two within 15 miles of each other?
Yeah, so I think the start was we knew that there was a village meeting taking place where the developers were going to come and talk about the proposed development. I turned up there sort of about 10 minutes before the meeting was due to start, and there were hundreds of local residents. To the degree that I spent the entire meeting standing outside of the village hall as opposed to in the village hall itself. So there was a really strong show of public feeling.
There are two proposals on the table, the one from Rail Central and the one from Northampton Gateway. So at present we don't know if we're going to get two, one or none. And I think that's a huge threat to have.
Well, over the course of the last couple of years, it's pretty much dominated our lives.
What Dot and John face potentially is living in the middle of a warehouse. There's no other way of looking at it.
None of them are from the local area, and therefore they seem to have absolutely no appreciation at all in terms of the likely impact of a development of this nature, of this size, on the villages of Blisworth and Milton Mauser.
As soon as it gets a strategic tag, of course, what happens is it bypasses all local planning consent and it goes straight to government level.
There's a lot of claims of job creation. This is the one benefit they're saying. So these things need to be where there is a population that needs jobs.
So I think without StockRail Central, I and many others would have been at a complete loss.
This is the wrong place and the wrong time to build a strategic rail freight interchange, particularly between two Northamptonshire villages.
It's affecting people very badly.
And it almost feels like these developers are coming via the back door.
The one thing that I would say to them is I would challenge them absolutely around whether the proposal that they're bringing forward has anything to do with strategy in the context of national policy, and whether in fact the reality isn't that it's got everything to do with them, as I said earlier, a last-ditch attempt to realise some value from a portion of land that they've owned for a 20-year period.
Strategic rail freight interchange is designed to get freight off-road, stop all our traffic jams and our carbon emissions, and make the world a nicer place for everyone. But that won't happen if you build them all in the middle of the country next to each other.
The warehouses will be completely behind the stables. They're going to be literally from that side of us, and a dual carriageway coming off the main road. And all of this will be warehouse.
There's another big one, I think, up in Leicester that's just been authorised to be had. So we've got lots of different places doing the same thing. Why here?
How can you just justify putting massive warehouses on just green land? It's just not on, is it really?
You can hope it won't come, but you have to carry on your life as normal. I'd just curl up in bed and forget all about it.
The way we've been treated is disgraceful. The family have lived either here or next door for just under 67 years.
I had to come to terms with it, and I had to decide to fall out of love with my house and my home.
Last 3 years, we've been in limbo. If we wanted to sell the house, we would never be able to sell the house. We'd have to give it away.
It might even have been just for Christmas when they sold us, and then we didn't hear anything again until 6-9 months later. I don't think it was.
If you look at that map where it shows you all the warehouses and you see how tiny our houses are, there's absolutely no way on this planet could you live here.
It's just our outlook will be just
we
a
will
wall,
just look at
a warehouse.
warehouse walls.
I think perhaps because they think, oh, she's just there on her own, we can just do what we like.
Who would want to buy a lovely property full of with a warehouse in your back garden?
Don't like to think about it.
Yeah.
It's the best way to be, really.
Try and shut it out, but
When we wanted to build the stables, we had so much problems that you can't build stables here, and you must have certain bricks, certain roofing. And when you think about it, it was 4 stables, and now they want to put a massive warehouse, and there was so much hassle.
No motivation to spend any money. You've got no motivation or no to do anything.
Whatever you ask them, you never get an answer, do you?
We wouldn't be able to sell it, so we'd just have to stay here. This was our retirement home. This was everything we wanted.
So not only you're taking his home away from him, you're taking his life away from him as well.
It'll have everything. It'll have blight of sight. 50 metres away from our house is the first of these warehouses. It'll be light pollution, it'll be noise pollution, it'll be constant traffic to get 8,000 people to work every day.
If this goes ahead and they get an okay and they take our house, I've got to go and get a full-time job to be able to now get a mortgage, a bigger mortgage to be able to move either into the village or elsewhere, and I have to take my children out of school.
For the last 9 years we've been developing this house and the property, and we've spent a lot of money on this house.
Different agents are just running it and renting it out to the farmers, but a lot of the land that was sold, we really had no idea at the time. I mean, you just wouldn't want to buy a house with the chances of a warehouse in the back gardens.
You know, they're not going to listen to the little people like us. If they want this massive rail freight depot, they'll have this massive rail freight depot.
I mean, my forever home. I wasn't planning on ever moving. Spent a fortune, more than is in the value of the house, for the simple reason that we weren't going to move. So the value that we spent or lack of didn't matter.
It's horrendous what they've done to us, horrendous.
It's too much. It's just too much as a person to take.
We will fight to the end.
This was an ideal situation. It was. Yeah.